Looking for a good reason to watch this video? Come on, it's a McLaren GT. What else do you need? Money can purchase a lot of things. What it buys best is choice. An optimal scenario is a beautiful home in a world-class city, or maybe something truly unique in the machine world. The McLaren GT certainly qualifies. The factory in Woking, UK turns out only 5,000 cars annually in total, tops, and this is just one of 9 models. So when it comes to exclusivity, it's the polar opposite of Honda Accord. Much of the McLaren appeal is in the rarity, but a lot can be said about design. It's like an alien craft visiting from a world that worships art and sculpture. It looks stunning in motion. It looks stunning standing still. It even looks stunning with the dehedrals open, maybe most of all. People do love these doors, and they're of course standard equipment on the GT, which starts at about $219,000. This one, nicely equipped, is $241,000. It's how I'd option up my McLaren GT, and would be the only thing I'd get in the divorce settlement if I did. The company says this more comfortable Grand Touring rocket with improved cargo space is about attracting new buyers to McLaren. Probably not the middle class, though. It's people that might shop any number of high-end automobiles. Could be an Aston Martin DB11, Bentley Continental GT, or Porsche 911 Turbo, or maybe even Acura NSX, Lexus LC, or Mercedes AMG GTC Coupe. Not sure there's any direct competitor. That's how unique the GT is. And it's not something you buy off the lot. When configuring yours, choose from 37 paints, 9 brake caliper hues, and 5 different colors of stitching, that kind of stuff. Strictly a 2-seater, its aluminum skin is stretched over a slightly modified version of the 720S carbon fiber monocage 2 structure, dubbed the MC2T, that helps to keep the costs down on top of being brilliant engineering. I'd show you the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 that makes 612 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, but it's sealed under here. Just another way McLaren is different from others. Ignition requires waking the car, then firmly hitting the brake and tapping again. The active button must be hit before the adaptive dampers and drive modes can be adjusted. It's a refined snarl, and this is the sport exhaust. Those modes change the look of the gauge cluster and definitely the driving dynamic of the car. Track setting is not a mode for everyday driving. GT is rear drive. The 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox requires very deliberate selection. Of course, manual control is a thing. These feel lovely if you never get the chance to drive a McLaren. The tires are staggered with 20-inch wheels up front, 21s in back. $6,500 for carbon ceramic discs is a good deal. Red calipers at $1,500 are not. This car weighs 3,380 pounds with 612 horsepower on tap. Acceleration is not an issue, especially with launch control. It does pin you back into the seat. 0 to 60 happens in just over 3 seconds. And it happens with your butt less than a foot away from the pavement. GT is low, long, and lean. However, in my 3 days behind the wheel, I never once scraped the undercarriage or chin. It's a livable supercar. Could be a daily driver. It's never twitchy or nervous. If you want to travel cross-country in a McLaren, the GT is your best bet. But it's not like it's an old, comfy Buick. There is some road noise coming through, and because of the low-profile tires, you're definitely going to feel every sharp bump. The double wishbone suspension has been calibrated with softer front springs. Yes, it is more docile than a 720S, but don't be delusional. The great thing about the GT is that it feels very analog in this digital world. The V8 is behind you. It sounds magnificent. You can hear the whistle of the turbos. You know, everything this car is doing. The mid-engine design gives it terrific balance. The car seems to rotate from its middle during harder cornering. Steering is incredibly direct. There's lots of road feel, and I would tell you that this thing corners like it's on rails, but the reality is I can't approach the limits of this car on public roads. You really do need to have it on the track for that. You never know what's around the corner, even early in the morning when this was shot, when the roads should be on the empty side. Driving 50, 60 miles an hour in this car is actually kind of hard. It seems happiest to cruise at 80 or 90. I'm not going to tell you how I know that. Top speed, by the way, is 203 miles an hour. There's gobs of power to pass at any speed. If you're stuck behind a pokey motorhome towing a Wrangler, you won't be for long. No, there is no manual transmission available in the GT, but the 7-speed, it's an excellent gearbox. Snappy shifts all day long. Not that anybody cares, but the EPA-rated fuel economy average of the GT is 18 miles per gallon. I'm pretty sure that McLaren owners can afford that, and it's not as if this is going to contribute to global warming, since people aren't going to be driving this 18,000 miles in a year. Brakes, these binders are amazing. They'll haul you down to a stop yesterday. Ooh, my tripod is back there, and even though it's secured, it kind of came forward. That's how good these brakes are. They're amazing. Gotta say, visibility forward in the GT is really pretty good. Rearward, not so great. And unfortunately, blind spot warning is not a thing in this car. Neither is adaptive cruise control, or automatic emergency braking, or lane keeping. Some might argue those have no place on a McLaren. Still, that stuff is nice to have on a Grand Touring machine, one that goes for over 200 grand. McLaren has its own way of doing things in the cabin. The GT's materials and craftsmanship seem to have been upgraded. Napa leather seats are standard. This Luxe edition upgrades that to soft grain aniline. They have heat. Venting is not available. That would be great for Grand Touring. Also, knobs and switchgear are machined, so they have decent heft. Same goes for the swoopy stocks. One of them controls the nose lift. One reason my time with the GT was scuff-free. This space feels like it was made in a workshop by craftspeople wearing aprons and pencils behind their ears, not a factory assembly line. The Bowers and Wilkins system sounds good, but it does get lost a bit among the engine and road noise. Unlike some exotics, this one is actually fairly easy to get into. The sill is on the low side. You just sit on it and fall in. The dihedral doors are really easy to operate. Those are not an issue, but the seats are. The controls are buried so deep, I can't find a camera angle to show them to you, and you have to operate them by braille. Good thing there's memory settings. If you've ever been in a 787, they have the same electrochromic glass. This is a $6,000 option, one that I would definitely get. Seems McLaren lays everything out differently than other manufacturers, including the screen, which is low, taking eyes off the road. It's very simple to use, but it is small. No Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, if that's a deal breaker. The camera is bright and clear, but this location makes it hard to see when backing and turning, when you need it the most in a car with poor visibility in back. Storage, that's not great. There's no traditional glove box. The door pockets are good for the cloths used for keeping the car clean. At least there's an easy-to-reach spot for a cup of coffee, important to me. And the satin trim has a very cool trick at night. It's actually backlighted, and the colors can be changed. GT is the most practical McLaren money can buy. The company says that you can throw a couple pair of skis or a set of golf clubs back here, but really, this is not a practical car. Do not volunteer to pick up ice cream for the Sunday social. The engine bay floor gets quite warm after a romp. This very cool stuff is called Super Fabric. Feel like I should put an echo on that. It's a tough, scuff-resistant covering that looks to be very durable. This space is long and shallow. My measurement metric doesn't do so well here, but right behind the seats, it's fine. FYI, there is an available custom luggage set for traveling. And there's also the front, which might hold 2 smaller carry-on suitcases. Overall, the GT is about as useful as a Porsche Cayman. Ready for red light, green lights? Let's get to it. Green lights. The GT and its dihedral doors is beautiful, and it grows more gorgeous the longer you look at it. Lovely design. It's the most usable, practical McLaren there is and may ever be, since the company says it will not make SUVs. This is a rare machine with lofty performance. You may never see one in person, and yet it's priced lower than some competitors. Yellow lights? Furthering that thought, the boutique nature of a McLaren comes with controls and technology that are a little quirky. Yes, it could be a daily driver, but only folks like Jeff Bezos would feel comfortable driving it to Whole Foods or a rocket launch, both of which you helped him buy. And while it's comfortable for a McLaren, the ride quality is still firmer than, say, a luxury sedan. Red light. It's missing things you'll find on a Corolla. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and active electronic safety tech like automatic emergency braking and adaptive cruise. Bigger buyers should try it on for size before ordering. The cabin is on the snug side and there are ergonomic issues. There aren't many places to buy and service a McLaren. Ownership might be difficult simply because of where you live. It's hard not to like the exotic GT. It's beautiful, it corners like physics don't apply, and it's fast. Maybe not as quick as some high-performance EVs, but McLarens have other fine attributes. One thing electrification can't do, and that's sound. Gotta love that. Wealthy or not, the McLaren GT isn't for everyone. This is the wrong car to buy when trying to keep a low profile. But isn't it nice to have the choice? If you're wondering how useful the GT really is, I had to return a chainsaw that arrived defective, and not wanting to mess up the lovely leather seats, I found it just fit here. I'm pretty sure I'm the first to use a McLaren to transport a chainsaw. Visibility is not so hot, just in case you're wondering. We do have a price quote service that will help you when you're shopping for your next vehicle. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's not going to help you if you're buying a McLaren, but anything else, it can be very useful. And I highly suggest using mine or somebody else's. It doesn't matter. Just do your research, okay? As you know, I shoot all of my videos, and I take pride in giving you great photography. My channel is as boutique-like as a McLaren. I put way too much time and effort into all of these videos, even if it's a Nissan Kicks. In this case, I use the full arsenal of visuals. Pro video cameras, GoPros, drones, and a small Osmo camera. I mount it on this 4th access arm from Scotty Makes Stuff. And even though it bobs up and down when we're doing the car-to-car stuff, the result is super smooth. Man, I love using toys like this and making the shots look special. I could not do this without the fine team of Rob Calero, we used his BMW 440i for the tracking shots, and Martin Campbell, who drove. So, please thank them profusely in the comments. They even bought me coffee when we met for the shoot. You should have such great friends. Well, that was fun. This is the end. Time for the fun fact. A lot of people know that McLaren is named after Bruce McLaren, the guy that started the company, a very good driver who unfortunately was killed in 1970 testing one of his own cars. But a lot of people forget that he was one of the drivers behind the wheel of the GT40 that won at Le Mans, the first American car to win that race. It's all chronicled in Ford versus Ferrari, a very good movie. Even my wife liked it, and she doesn't like cars. So, hey, remember to subscribe Every Tuesday, a great car review video like this. Thanks for watching. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.